If you want to be very good engineers, you will have to memorize 3 very difficult letters: I, C, and R. I for innovation, C for culture, and R for risk. You have to embrace innovation. An engineer who plans to spend the rest of his or her life sitting in a desk just solving equations is not a very productive engineer. You have to embrace innovation, and that relies on multidisciplinary R&D. The future of engineer will be more and more multidisciplinary. You know that ASME has like 32 or 33 technical divisions. It's not just heat transfer and fluid mechanics, it's robotics, electronics, many things. I haven't ever been in any project in which I was doing only one area of engineering. I have always worked with people from many different backgrounds. Culture. You can create the most intergalactic strategic plan for any project. But remember that culture eats strategy for breakfast. So wherever you work, always keep in mind that you have to understand what is the culture of the organization in which you are working. Don't work isolated. Always study what defines your organization at the cultural level. Embrace risk. All engineers that I know that claim to be perfect, that they have always have only A in college, and they have never failed in any failure, in any project, in any company, I don't think they are good engineers. In my personal humble opinion, an engineer has to embrace the risk, fail, because through failure you learn. What makes you a master is not that you are perfect. What makes you a master is that you have failed more than anybody else, but you have recovered and you have learned, and that's what makes you better. And finally, learn by doing. It's very good to study, but if you don't roll your sleeve and you cut the metal and you make the parts, it will be very difficult for you to become a good engineer. So in the Renaissance was the first time in which human beings started to work in a very multidisciplinary way, and that's what basically disconnected us from the Dark Ages. Then after that, well, you know what happened in the 1600s, 1700s, and then we started to have the knowledge organizations that define our culture now. So by 2025, engineering will be a lot more multidisciplinary than it is now, and it's going to be more global, a lot more global. We will have about 10 billion people, okay? And look at how many of those people will be in the developed regions. Second, the populations in North America and Europe will decrease. The populations in South America and Asia will increase in a significant way. This is what you will be facing, okay? It's not just about equations, technology. It's about you reading twice as much as you read now about topics that are not related to engineering. Number one. Number two is about you listening twice as much as you talk so you can learn from what's going on, okay? And it's about you learning at least one more language than the one that you speak now. Listen to, and pay a lot of attention to this. For example, Spanish and Portuguese, both of those two languages, there will be more people speaking those two languages than everybody speaking English. And finally, look at how that technology is going to be concentrated in the different parts of the planet. The point I want to make is that the 3 letters that I told you, I, C, R, are the things that have to run through your veins. Is that what you have to sweat in order to make engineering better? I for innovation, C for culture, and R for risk.